As we look forward to another year, there is no question about it. For many, the past year has been one of the most challenging and painful ever experienced. And for those on the islands of Abaco and Grand Bahama that were only just beginning to recover from the physical and psychological devastation of Hurricane Dorian, the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic has truly been a setback. In this document, we follow the Rotary Club as they do their part to help the residents and the islands of Abaco rebuild. We will spend the next 4 days with Ken Strawn, Assistant Governor of Rotary Bahamas District 7020 East, Dwayne Wallace, President of the Rotary Club of Abaco, and their support team as they check on the progress of projects already underway, make a jaw-dropping donation to Abaco Crash Fire and Rescue, and make plans for potentially new projects to help rebuild Abaco. Along the way, we will meet a number of Abaconians who have survived and have been strengthened following the ordeal, some whose stories are yet to be told. We began with a visit to the community center in Treasure Key, Abaco, to make plans for the following day crash, fire, and rescue training sessions. We learned that the community center, like many other buildings, was badly damaged and even lost its roof during the hurricane. But the residents, realizing the importance of the center, worked to get it back up and running as soon as possible. In addition to a meeting place, the building was serving as a food distribution center, ran all by volunteers.
On a weekly basis, we will have sometimes about 200 plus packages. We have packages designed for families of 4 plus. A lot of them will say, well, any rice this week or any flour this week, and so it's much appreciated. I'm not working at the moment, and so I feel like, getting the packages, I just like to help out and to give back. And so I feel like, many hands make light work.
The people I've spoken to are very, very grateful to have the help. People seem to be very, very strong. They pick up and just carry on. I was actually here during the storm, and we were always amazed at how resilient people were and how quickly people got together and all the aid. We couldn't believe how quickly the aid came in from around the world.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We've teamed up, Abaco Crash Rescuers teamed up with Rotary in the past. The vehicle you see outside was very largely funded by Rotary. Ken says to me, what are your needs? I said, Ken, we need the jaws of life. Ours had gone underwater, they were ruined, and the firehouse was pilfered. No problem. He will explain the rest to you.
I would appreciate you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Listen, let me say how truly blessed we are all for this day. I don't know that you've ever had an opportunity to come together as a team in one training session. Could you please tell me yes or no?
No, this is the first, Ken.
So this is a milestone. Mike Canavan, who you will spend the next couple of hours with, will go through this equipment and be able to prepare you for any eventualities which may cause it to come into use. A year and a half ago, we were privileged to have one of our own, Dr. Barry Russell, who served as Rotary International President for the globe. That is a milestone. Our district governor today is Charles Seeley II, from whom I bring regards. I serve as two of his assistant governors. I have responsibility for 4 clubs. I don't know if you've met Dwayne Wallace. If you've not, Dwayne Wallace is the president of Rotary Club of Abaco, one of the clubs that I'm responsible for. So I really thank him for keeping the body together to this date. And then we also have Assistant Governor Calacat Stubbs. There are 23 of us nestled across the Caribbean. So we're here on the island engaged in any number of initiatives to serve you at this particular time, to try to help you to bounce back to a level of resilience that you are accustomed to. So that's
just what I know. Not
Welcome back. According to the Road Traffic Department, the number of traffic fatalities is too high. In fact, there were 63 traffic accidents last year, which resulted in 69 deaths. Now, in this next report, you'll see a local nonprofit organization help community members in Abaco with the hope of preventing fatalities on that island.
So the focus was to educate them on the different equipment that we have. We brought in a different type of tool that they were used prior, and we gave them the knowledge, the classroom experience inside, the theory, explaining about new car technology. We explained about how tough it is on the newer cars to get into the vehicles and what to be aware of. And I think they received it very well. They have some basic knowledge already, there's no doubt. They've been doing extrication already, So what I was trying to do is get them up to speed on this equipment and the newer techniques.
How did they do on the actual practical?
Everyone did very well, and I think what it does, it's a step in the right direction. I think what they need to do is follow up with additional training and continue to practice. So what we will do is I have everyone that participated in the class today, and we'll issue certificates of achievement, certificates of completion of this class. And beyond that, then it's the next step is Collins can take it to the next step and do additional training, advanced type of training for them.
In them. And that's another thing we teach in firefighting, that when a vehicle's on fire, you got to be careful. These will pop out on you sometimes.
Right.
And that's what Mike's talking about. If we're working and these are under pressure and they should give way, you don't want your pump right in front and damage it. So what you want to do, what's going to happen when we cut here, 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 and take this off? If we don't put something here, it could possibly collapse in. The steering wheel can go and crush your patient. But if you didn't do that, when you put this back, you're backed again, popping this opening.
That's a great point, Colin. Great point. I like that.
Go ahead.
The new Hamatro equipment is a new technology, new engineered, and it'll help save a lot of time because of the performance of it. And this training is going to be invaluable to us. Time is of the essence when we get to an accident, so it'll help us tremendously. Yeah, the old equipment that we had was extremely heavy. The spreaders that we're using now are half the weight. The other spreaders would take almost 2 guys, and if we had a vehicle in the bush, this is invaluable. It's very lightweight. The little portable engine for the hydraulics is very light, and one firefighter can basically deal with it instead of multiple firefighters.
I think it's very important to have it because down in South Abaco we're very far from the medical facility in the Marsh Harbor, and we're about 20 miles south of Marsh Harbor, but all the way down to Sandy Point is another close to 40 miles, and it's going to be a very positive thing to have some rescue equipment that we can help somebody that far away from anywhere else. And there was recently an accident there a couple of months ago, which we assisted with, and I think it's a very positive thing to have. And unfortunately, Abaco has long, dark roads, and at night, and with a lot of trees, and we do have some very serious accidents at times.
I was very excited to be a part of it, knowing that what I learned from it I can use. Knowing that being a part of the Highbanks Volunteer Fire Service or any fire service, it is empowering and it's not gender biased, okay? And so I took it on to know that in the event that if something happens, I am equipped to assist.
We understand that throughout the islands from time to time, there are incidents, very serious incidents, and we know so far for the year, there's some 3 fatalities that we can remember in recent times that called your attention to come out and try to free persons who were trapped in the vehicles. This equipment, yes, it is expensive. $50,000 was expended to cause this to be purchased for you. What is important is not the cost of the equipment. We know based on what you have been doing that you will take care of this equipment while you continue to serve your community. This wonderful day of training, seeing firefighters or fire volunteers from Cherokee,
Bahama
Palm Shores, and Treasury Abaco Crash and Fire Rescue come together and seeing you perform, it does my heart well. So I know that this is safe and you will continue to keep your community safe. So once again, we say thank you to you, Colin, and all of you. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You say that we had this all stretched out, right? Can you grab that so we're just stretched out?
Pull it on.
So it was all stretched. Okay, you can drop it.
That's your squash.
Right. That's good.
Rotary Bahamas Disaster Relief is a non-profit arm of Rotary Bahamas, and through the wider scope of Rotary International. And the overall purpose of the Rotary Bahamas Disaster Relief is, of course, to respond to those needs, the needs of those individuals, communities that have suffered from the results of a disaster, not only a natural disaster, but also man-made disasters. And so our overall objective, our mission, is actually deeply rooted in the vision of Rotary, and that is essentially together we see a world where people unite to create a lasting change, not only globally, but in local communities and in ourselves. Our strength is in rebuilding. We're not just there for the short term, but over the long term. We essentially respond to the needs assessed by the authorities. So if there is a need in terms of structural rebuild, for example, in terms of homes repair, we would focus on that. But there's not only a need for the structural or the physical rebuild. We are now turning our focus onto the well-being of not only of individuals, but the family as a whole. We get increasing reports of the mental health, the mental well-being of families that have been affected not only by Dorian, but now doubly with COVID. People know Rotary. People who have benefited from the work of Rotary has talked about Rotary. But Rotary's strength is through our partnerships and collaboration, not only with communities, but with other NGOs. Like the Red Cross, Samaritan Purse, All Hearts, All and Hands. There are fantastic NGOs on the ground with us, on Abaco and Grand Bahama, and around the world. The first thing that comes to mind is the only failing that a Rotarian has, and that is they're human.
How do I get my house fixed? I need my house fixed because I want to come home. And when I said that, Mr. Ken Strawn and his team walked in. And he said, how you doing? I said, not too good, but thank God for life. And I said to him, I just prayed and said, Lord, I need help for my house. And he showed up and he said that they will help me with my home.
Take me through, man. Show me what's happening.
Okay. So much has happened.
Okay.
Actually, it's surreal. Sometimes I still think about it, but when it first happened, it was devastating. Like, it was just so crazy. We had to run out the house. I had to run out the house with the 3 children, but we went to our neighbor's house, dawn, after we ran, because the roof, everything get all messed up, and rain was coming in on us, and the children were screaming and crying. And I was crying too, because I didn't know, I only get 2 hands, and if anything happened, what I would do. That was the most, scariest thing for me, was for my children. We evacuated the island, and I went to Nassau. We was in a Crown apartment, and after that, I got a call from one of the Foundation asking if I was interested in relocating. I was actually just so grateful to be alive, that I wasn't even afraid to just do something different because I lived through it. I felt hopeless, like how I'm going to get back home, like how I'm going to get back to normal, you know? I don't have a job. I'm a single parent of 4 kids. My other daughter was in college and stuff. So what I was going to do for my children, my family, in the future. So that was my main thing. My children is my life, you know? So that was my main. We are so excited. Like I tell you, it's so it's unreal. Like it's happening, but you then still wondering if it's really, you know, happening. Even though you know the storm did happen, so you still like you can't believe you get so much help and so much compassion from the Rotary.
With all the NGOs and particularly Rotary, I'm very grateful for Mr. Strawn and the organization, Rotary. I reach out to him and being a law enforcement officer and him also being a law enforcement officer, we connected. And tell you the truth, I'm thankful that Rotary came through and helped myself and my family and other members in the community to help us rebuild. We're grateful.
A major part of Abaco's culture and economic engine is the iconic lighthouse at Hopetown on Elbow Key. First constructed in 1864, the lighthouse has withstood many hurricanes, including a pummeling from 2019's Hurricane Dorian. And although she still stands strong, according to a local building contractor tasked with restoring the tower, it did not go unscathed, and repairs prior to Hurricane Dorian helped prevent even more extensive damage.
We actually started from the very top of Darrow, from the very top, and if you look at the veranda go around, we had all nice paint job before the storm. That was work we did before the storm. And if you look at it now, you can see where you have to go back up there with a pen gun chip and repaint. We had a lot of leaks where we were getting water on the inside from a lot of broken glass, and we were not too long and finishing up all of the glass. We changed, first time in the history of the lighthouse, where we take out every last piece of the weatherproof glass and we had them replaced. And now we're outside on the roof where we're introducing a new style shingle.
There is still much work to be done on the lighthouse and its supporting structures before it can once again be open to visitors.
Safety is a factor, so we have to get all of them stuff in place where it's safe for the tourists. We had an issue with our main dock, and we have a new dock in after the storm, so the project is moving along. Me, I does construction. I'm a fisherman, an operator, you name it, mechanic, versatile.
Our timing did not allow us to meet the lighthouse keeper, Jeffrey Forbes II, whose father, Jeffrey Forbes I, was also the lighthouse keeper. However, his wife, Nathalie, and son, little Jeff, were more than happy to talk about the experiences and responsibilities of being the lighthouse keeper.
His normal duties, he normally have to make sure cleaning the tower, you have to clean everything down. He try to keep the yards nice and clean or whatever. And he also pretty much day-to-day maintenance stuff to make sure like all the parts, because sometimes there's old things, so therefore when you have to wind up, you have to make sure that all the gears are greased properly and cleaned and shined, polished. So that's the kind of stuff that he do day to day to make sure everything runs smooth at nighttime. His dad, he was doing this, I think he said 40 plus years. He was a lighthouse keeper, and he was here. He was stationed to all of the lighthouse in the Bahamas. He was stationed to every last one of them. So my husband and his family, they all traveled there to each station with them. So he got a lot of experience from doing that with his dad. And also his granddad was also a lighthouse keeper as well. Yes.
So it's really
a family tradition. They just keep it in the family.
And then we have Jeffrey Forbes the third here. What are his plans? You think he'll fall in line?
I don't think so. They actually did everything and they had to be repaired. We didn't have no walls, the windows, the doors. We had to get furnitures. We had to do everything had to get done inside the house. So without you guys' help, we don't know what we would have done because it's a lot of expense.
Well, this is the last and only hand-driven, kerosene-lit lighthouse in the world. It has a lot of history and culture behind it. It's a major tourist attraction for the island of Abaco, and the Rotary Clubs of the Bahamas have tackled helping the restoration of the site. Specifically, the major donation was to get the lighthouse keepers' houses livable, and especially to get the roofs fixed so that the keeper can move in and continue to maintain the lighthouse and keep the light on, as they say, keep the light turning. It's a great symbol of the Abacos and the recovery efforts. The lighthouse at night for a ship in the ocean, it gives you a direction for where to go, which is very, very important symbolism, I think, for the restoration efforts and the activities of the Rotary Club of Abaco and the Rotary Clubs of the Bahamas.
Wallace reminded us how you can get involved with community projects and why Rotary clubs around the world are good partners.
Okay, if you want to get involved and support the relief efforts, I would encourage folks to get involved with their local Rotary clubs in Nassau or Grand Bahama or Eleuthera. And we're a partnership organization. We do coordinate and cooperate often. So one of the great things about Rotary is its accountability, its integrity, and its follow-through. And you can be sure that almost 99 cents of every dollar is going to go where it needs to go. There's very, very little administrative overhead.
The value of the work from Rotary side was around $40,000 towards the initiative. And certainly this is just one of such initiatives that we are engaged with. We were asked if we could lend some support to the restoration of this iconic site, and Rotary was pleased to establish a communication and dialogue. And so what we were able to do is contribute to the restoration of the roofs to the lighthouse keepers' residence. No doubt you have gotten a full update as to how significant this particular location is in the Bahamas and indeed in the world. Rotary is pleased to have participated in this initiative, and certainly we continue to lend support to the communities of Abaco.